viewers, you are welcome to our program today, and you're also welcome to our new theme. We'll be discussing cooperative governance for the next few weeks. Cooperative governance. This is a very rich area in cooperative studies. Incidentally, we are going to start with part 1 on comparison of cooperative societies and contribution groups, as well as some savings groups. And I'm going to tell you why later. Before that, let me remind us, particularly those who have not done so, to please try and press the subscription button. It's very important to us, so that whenever we upload new videos, you will get it. And also try to share these videos so that it can get to as many people as possible. Also, please remember to press the like button so that Google can at least help us to send the video across to many people. Recommend it. And then, as much as possible, please make your comments also, so that let us get your thoughts about what we are doing. Now, we have been discussing quite a lot lately. And one of the major themes we discussed included the issue of how to form cooperatives and how to register cooperative societies, and then how they can get involved in businesses. And we thought that we did justice to these areas. Incidentally, I got some calls from people who wanted to comment on some of the things we handled. And I was quite excited, but from about 2 or 3 of them, after their discussion, I found out that they were actually not even discussing cooperative. They were talking about something else that was not cooperative, which is something like the contribution groups and those who are trying to save, the saving groups. So these are all good things, but they are not cooperatives. And we will not want the general public to mix them up, because it is very dangerous to do so. Because when we are talking of contribution groups, we are looking at a Susu, we are looking at Ejo, we are looking at Adashi, and Tebe. These are traditional groups that they contribute money, and then most times they pass it on to one person in a particular period of time, like every month. And then it goes round before they start all over again. And some others, do what they call Xmas savings. The savings from January to December. And then whatever you are able to save, they say they are going to give you. You decide what you want to collect. Many people collect rice, they collect vegetable oil, they collect indomie, they collect all sorts of things. Of course, all those things are handled by whoever is coordinating the savings group. He is the person who decides what he will, that this is available for them to collect and this is not available. So those are some of the things that they do, which I said is not about cooperative society. And the danger is that sometimes these people who save money, under the arrangement, something will happen. The items they said they would be collecting, like rice and all that, they'll begin to tell them stories that rice has put money and that it's unfortunate they are not going to be able to give them that rice again. And then you find them quarreling all over the place. These are some of the things that happen. And even those people who save routinely, and give to one person, when it is time for another person to collect, some of the people who collect start making trouble. And some of them will tell you that they are unable to continue because of difficulties and all that. So these are just some of the things that happen. And sometimes people will say that this cooperative society they joined, they are having a lot of problems. But it's not cooperative society, it's something else, like I have told you. So I want to use this opportunity of the theme we are discussing now, which is cooperative governance, to show the differences between cooperative societies and these contribution groups or savings groups. They are not the same thing with cooperative societies. Cooperatives, according to their standard definition, they are jointly owned. Their businesses are jointly owned, and they are democratically controlled. Every participant, understands what will happen and how things are done. In the case of the groups that we have mentioned now, Ajo, Esusu, Adashi, it is not like that. Most times it's somebody who initiates it, who is a coordinator or whatever, and it's just everything about that society, and whatever he wants is what he tells them. Then cooperative has a structure and governance. And what does this mean? Cooperative, the structure of cooperative means that there are, responsibilities, shared responsibilities. There are levels of assignments that are given out, to different individuals who are normally elected into positions. And they know what they have been assigned to do, and that is exactly what they do. So in the case of some of these groups we are talking about, the contribution and the other savings group, they don't have such officials. They can at best have coordinators who are handling the whole thing for them. Then you also find that cooperative societies, there are laws, national laws, state laws that guide them. And in fact, the cooperative societies also have bylaws. They do not do things haphazardly. They follow the law. Unlike in the case of these groups, they have no laws because they are not products of, they do not exist on account of any law. The cooperative society exists on account of law. So everything they do has to be lawful. The business is a lawful one. For these other groups, it is not so. So they are not guided. Cooperative societies, they do businesses. In fact, at the center of the activity is the business they organize. And such businesses, they have interests, they have expectations. Their members have expectations. Whatever accrues, becomes the product for everybody, every member. So in the case of these groups I'm talking about, they don't have such a facility, as it were. The coordinator, more or less, if he does business with the money of people, the money accrues to him most of the time. The money accrues to him. If he decides to give out loan to people, most times outsiders or whatever interest they pay accrues to that organizer or coordinator who is handling it. It doesn't accrue to people who are participating in that contribution or savings. In fact, the people who save are charged fees at the end of maybe if it's a year. They take some commission from the people. And this is not done in the case of a cooperative society. So it's good that we mention some of these things so that we see the differences between them. They are not the same thing. They are not even related in any way. And the membership of cooperative societies exists in perpetuity. That means that if a member is no longer there, his nominee will become part of that society if he chooses. If he wants to be paid off, he will eventually be paid off following the conditions, that everybody will understand. So in this other one, if you're a member, you leave, that is the end. There's nothing anybody is talking about, because the arrangement for membership, of these contribution societies or savings groups is ad hoc. It's an ad hoc arrangement. It's not something that is permanent in any way. So it is important for us to start our deliberation on governance, cooperative governance, by clearly bringing out the fact that cooperative society is not the same thing as some of these groups that people parade as cooperative societies. No. In fact, some cooperative societies earn bad name because of some of these groups. But the truth is that it is still possible, to nurture and educate these groups so that they eventually get formed into cooperative societies. That is something that can still be done. So it's not all about the negative aspects. They can be grown into a cooperative society. So essentially today we are just mentioning the fact that these two groups, cooperative societies and this contribution society, are not the same thing, and that people need to be very careful when they say they are joining groups they are belonging to. Thank you, and God bless you.